This is a short intro of the TEBI 3.0. Speed can be adjusted electronically. Press the up and down button to adjust the height of the cutter. If you want to increase or decrease the speed of the height setting, turn the plus and minus button simultaneously. In the digital readout, you can see the height setting you achieved. Use the electronic height setting to adjust the preferred cutting height. On the back of the TEBI, you can connect a vacuum cleaner. On the side, you find the button to lock the spindle. Now it's time to place a cutter. Make sure that the pinhole on the back of the cutter falls over the little pin of the adapter. Place the guide bearing in the cutter and fasten the bearing. Use the spindle locking button to prevent the spindle from rotating freely. Take the hex key wrench and apply the proper torque to tighten the bearing properly. Make sure nothing is touching the cutter head and turn on the TEBI. Put your workpiece flat on the table and guide it along the cutter. Make sure you push the cutter into the metal enough so the guide bearing touches the edge. If you can't place a hole over the cutter without touching the rotating cutter, turn off the motor first. Place the workpiece so it doesn't touch the cutter and then turn on the motor again. Placing the optional TEBI guide, first remove the cover plate. Put the guide on the table with the opening for the cutter facing the TEBI's front. Place all 4 screws in the dedicated holes and align the front of the guide with the front of the guide bearing. Now tighten the screws so the guide can't move anymore. Set the rotation speed around 9,000 RPM for standard construction steel. For aluminum, use around 16,000 RPM, while for stainless steel you need a low speed, around 4,500 RPM. Turn on the TEBI and move your workpiece from right to left while pushing it against the side of the guide. The guide will take over the guide bearing's support function, so now you can also work on thinner strips where the bearing normally would be above the workpiece. MQL lubrication. The guide has an option to connect the MQL lubrication unit. On the back of the TEBI guide you will find a G1/8 thread to connect the MQL unit. The pressure of the MQL unit will generate micro-lubrication through the small hole close to the cutter. This makes cutting easier, especially on stainless steel, and will improve the service time of your cutters.